Think Panama is just about the famous canal and pristine beaches? Think again. This Central American nation abolished its entire military, imposes fines up to $10,000 for littering, and has a culture where car horns serve as a sophisticated communication system. There's even a fascinating history of Panama requesting U.S. statehood not once, but 15 times. Meanwhile, the indigenous Kuna people will promptly escort you off their islands if you mistakenly call them Panamanian. Let's dive into these remarkable facts. Number 15. Panama's 15 proposals to join the United States. Before achieving independence in 1903, Panama pursued an audacious diplomatic strategy, repeatedly requesting to become a U.S. state. Over nearly half a century, Panamanian politicians submitted 15 official proposals seeking collective American citizenship for their people. The motivation was straightforward. Panama controlled the narrowest land bridge connecting North and South America, the future site of the legendary Panama Canal. After witnessing France's failed canal construction attempt, Panamanian leaders believed that statehood would accelerate modernization, guarantee security, and enable sustainable development under American protection. They envisioned becoming the 46th state, joining after Utah but before Oklahoma. However, America rejected all 15 proposals. The United States preferred Panama to remain nominally independent, making it easier to control the canal without the obligations of treating it as an official state. This arrangement created a peculiar political dynamic: effective control without formal responsibility. Panama became the only nation in the Americas to be repeatedly denied statehood by the U.S., more times than even Hawaii or Alaska. Today, despite formal independence, the relationship remains extraordinarily close. Panama uses the U.S. dollar as its currency, hosts hundreds of thousands of American residents, and previously housed the U.S. Southern Command headquarters. Yet this story of persistent proposals and consistent rejections remains one of history's lesser-known peculiarities. Number 14. The Kuna Territory, where men cannot lead. Along Panama's northeastern Caribbean coast, spanning nearly 370 islands, lies Cunayala, a semi-autonomous territory with its own legal system and such fierce national pride that calling its inhabitants Panamanian might result in your immediate deportation from the islands. The Kuna people, numbering approximately 50,000 and comprising about 1.2% of Panama's population, don't consider themselves a minority group within the country. Panama's constitution recognizes Cunayala as a semi-autonomous region where the Kuna exercise complete control over natural resources, tourism, construction, and immigration laws. No politician, business, or organization can operate here without approval from the Congreso General, the All People's Council. This self-governance comes with profound pride. The Kuna don't see themselves as belonging to Panama. They are Kuna. Their society operates through an indigenous democratic council system where all decisions undergo open discussion. Women occupy the central role. They own land, inherit property, and are the exclusive creators and wearers of traditional mola clothing. Any outsider man wishing to marry a Kuna woman must live with her family and participate in a ceremony approved by the Elders' Council. Visitors to Cunayala must strictly observe the rules. No filming children, no drones, no hard liquor, and especially never ask, "Why don't you relocate to the mainland?" Such questions directly insult their independent identity. Despite 80% of their islands sitting less than 1 meter above sea level, the Kuna refuse to abandon their homeland. When tides threaten their communities, they don't request aid. They construct floating villages from recycled wood, boats, and bamboo poles. This survival model was recognized by the United Nations in 2021 as a case study in indigenous climate adaptation. Number 13. The Embera tribe, where tattoos provide protection. Think tattoos are merely self-expression? For the Embera, one of Panama's most traditional tribes, tattoos function as survival shields. Here, people don't get tattooed for aesthetics, but to protect their skin from the sun. Today, approximately 30,000 Embera live throughout Panama, mainly near Chagres National Park. Historically, they inhabited the deep Darien jungle, where access required 6 to 10 hours of hiking through forests, swamps, and rivers. Due to harsh conditions and the need for medical and educational access, many Embera now live closer to urban areas while fiercely maintaining their traditions. They're instantly recognizable, shirtless men, women in short woven skirts, and bodies covered with mysterious black patterns across arms, legs, backs, and even faces. These aren't permanent tattoos. They use special ink from the jaguar fruit, a native plant that functions like their magic fruit. Jaguar ink stains the skin for 10 to 15 days before fading, an invisible shield. Traditionally, only shamans or tribal leaders could tattoo others, as each pattern symbolized health, spirit, or protection for jungle journeys. Today, these tattoos serve a new purpose, reducing UV damage. The Embera believe the black ink helps their skin resist sunburn, a traditional biological sunscreen hundreds of years old that scientists continue to study. Number 12. Panama's unwritten social taboos. In Panama, don't be startled by the constant beep-beep of car horns. Drivers aren't angry, they're greeting you or saying thank you. But, behind those smiles, there are actually unwritten rules that can easily offend locals if you violate them. Remember, pointing with your index finger is considered culturally inappropriate. It's better to gesture with an open hand, especially toward elders. Handshakes should be gentle, not firm. Women typically don't shake hands, but touch cheeks instead, so just follow their lead to avoid seeming overly familiar. When you're having a conversation, don't get straight to business. Small talk is essential, and honestly, it's rarely skipped. Standing too far away can make you seem unfriendly, but standing too close or touching shoulders, especially with Kuna people, might get you asked by a community leader to leave the island immediately. Another unspoken rule: strong body odor or being completely scentless can be frowned upon, and, believe it or not, many offices actually prohibit heavy perfumes. While Americans might say no directly, Panamanians often use roundabout methods. Topics that are casual in the US become hot buttons in Panama politics, especially regarding the US and the Canal, religion, gender, race, and even soccer. It's best to avoid these if you don't want to spark arguments. Number 11. Panamanians possess invisible visas to over 10 countries. It sounds incredible, but Panamanians can live, work, and stay long-term in over 10 countries without visas, thanks to a network of old but still valid treaties. These are like invisible doors in the immigration world. These agreements allow Panamanians to move freely to destinations where, honestly, other citizens spend years obtaining paperwork. With just a Panamanian passport, you can legally settle in Colombia, Spain, Chile, Ecuador, Peru, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and several other Latin American countries with minimal steps. Some don't even require financial proof, which is extremely rare in global immigration law. Surprisingly, most foreigners, including Americans and Europeans, don't know about these treaties, which were signed during colonial or early independence periods, but remain quietly applicable today. Spanish law, for example, allows Panamanians to apply for citizenship after just 2 years of legal residency, instead of the usual 10 years for non-EU citizens. Number 10. Panama has no military. Panama is among the few countries worldwide with no standing army, not by accident, but by bold historical choice. After the military dictatorship of General Manuel Noriega was overthrown in 1989 through the U.S. Just Cause operation, Panama's government chose a completely new direction: abolish the military entirely. By 1994, this decision was enshrined in the Constitution, making it illegal to ever form a standing army again. Instead of armed forces, Panama relies on civil security agencies like the National Police, Border Patrol, Coast Guard, and Internal Intelligence to maintain order. These forces possess no tanks, missiles, or fighter jets. They function more as peacekeepers than soldiers. The results are, honestly, pretty remarkable. For over 30 years, Panama has maintained political stability and experienced strong economic growth, especially thanks to the Panama Canal, which handles 5% of global trade. While other countries spend billions on defense, Panama invests in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Number 9. Don't pat locals on the shoulder. While in the US or, many Western countries, A pat on the shoulder signals friendliness, encouragement, or maybe just a way to start a conversation. But in Panama, it can actually be viewed as invading personal space, or even as a challenge. For Panamanian men, especially those who are middle-aged or older, a shoulder pat really isn't a sign of closeness at all. In fact, it can be interpreted as a call-out, or even a subtle status challenge. In tense situations, like arguments, minor traffic disputes, or say in bars, a shoulder pat might signal that you're looking for trouble, and things can escalate quickly. In Panama, touching others, even in ways that seem harmless, comes with real cultural boundaries. Affectionate gestures like putting your arm around someone, hugging or kissing, those are reserved for close friends or family. So, a tip for visitors: to show goodwill, use eye contact, words, and, of course, smiles instead of physical contact. In Panamanian culture, respecting personal space really does mean respecting someone's dignity. Number 8. The one area you shouldn't visit at night. In Panama City, there's one name that both locals and police approach warily: San Miguelito. You won't find this area marked in red on tourist maps, but on Panamanian survival maps, it's always circled with an exclamation mark. San Miguelito isn't just a district, it's kind of a world unto itself. It's crowded, chaotic, and exists right alongside the glitz of downtown Panama City. Narrow streets wind between packed houses and makeshift shacks of tin and brick. Kids play soccer in the street, and motorbikes weave through the concrete maze. But the crime rate is alarming. According to 2023 data from Panama's Ministry of Security, over 30% of incidents affecting locals and 45% of robberies in the capital occur in San Miguelito. At night, many taxi drivers just refuse passengers there. Some locals describe it as lawless after 9 p.m. Police patrols are rare, public cameras are vandalized, and people rarely report crimes. They're simply too accustomed to it. If you find yourself in a strange alley after 10 p.m. and hear footsteps behind you, the advice is simple: don't look back. Just walk as fast as possible. Number 7. Toboga, the island where men are treasured. In total contrast to the Cuna, just about 12 miles away by sea on Toboga Island, men are treated like gold. This is one of the rare places worldwide where a single man can become the #1 star simply by stepping off the ferry. 70% of the island's residents are women, and men, especially foreigners, are considered a precious resource. According to local statistics, among roughly 1,000 permanent residents, fewer than 120 men under 40 exist. Many young men leave the island to work in Panama City or abroad, leaving behind a multi-generational community of women, from elderly fruit vendors to young women running seaside cafes. Number 6. Littering in public can cost you $10,000. Panama, especially Panama City, is known for having some of Latin America's strictest public cleanliness laws. According to city regulations, urinating in public, littering, or throwing cigarette butts on sidewalks can result in fines from $100 up to $10,000, depending on violation severity and whether you're caught red-handed. Here's an interesting and, honestly, somewhat intimidating fact. Panama has a Facebook community called Los Cochinos, where people anonymously submit photos and videos of folks urinating, littering, or tossing bottles onto streets. These are posted publicly to shame offenders. Several people have been identified, lost jobs, or had internet users track them down at home. The internet never forgets definitely holds true here. Panama City also invests heavily in a dense surveillance camera network, especially in the financial district, historic Casco Viejo neighborhood, and major bus stations. Think no one's watching? The cameras see everything. Police might appear to question you minutes after an incident, but it doesn't stop at fines. Over the past decade, the Panamanian government has invested more than $200 million in river cleanup campaigns, wastewater treatment, and environmental education. One major goal is reviving the Juan Diaz River and Panama Bay, both severely polluted by household wastewater. In many districts, you can even be fined for not sweeping the sidewalk in front of your house each morning. This unwritten rule reflects the mindset that cleanliness is personal responsibility, not just the city's job. Number 5. Pets must have passports. Panama is among the first Latin American countries to officially implement the pet passport system following international standards. With this special passport, a small dog in Panama can legally travel to many European countries, South America, and even some US states without the lengthy quarantine process previously required. This passport includes a photo, identification details, vaccination records, medical checkups, and certification from Panama's Animal Quarantine Department. As long as your pet is healthy, vaccinated for rabies, and has a microchip, your furry friend can fly directly to Madrid, Bogotá, or Paris. No visa needed. It might sound amusing, but this has attracted thousands of expats living in Panama, especially couples or retirees from Canada, the US, and Europe. People who just can't bear leaving their pets behind on long trips. According to Panama Veterinary Services, nearly 10,000 pet passports are issued annually, a number that's almost doubled in the last 5 years thanks to the booming pet as family culture. Number 4. Power and water outages are daily occurrences. Yes, you heard correctly. In popular locations like Boquete, where thousands of Americans and Canadians choose to retire, or Bocas del Toro, a paradise island destination with overwater bungalows, losing power for 3 to 8 hours weekly is completely normal. Sometimes it's just a couple of hours at noon, sometimes it's 6 hours in the middle of the night, and honestly, there's often no explanation at all. The no advance warning situation has led many foreign visitors to jokingly call this the Panama Blackout Surprise. A 2022 survey by the Panama Clean Energy Initiative showed that over 60% of households in rural and semi-urban areas experience power or water outages at least twice weekly. Causes include outdated power lines, thunderstorms knocking out substations, or sometimes the water pump just taking a break during peak hours. Long-term residents know the rule. Always keep water jugs, flashlights, and backup chargers at home. Many families invest in their own generators, especially in resort areas or expat rentals where an hour without power can mean a 1-star review on TripAdvisor. How do locals handle it? Well, they're impressively calm. When lights go out and fans stop spinning, they step onto the porch, make coffee on a gas stove, light candles, turn on a battery-powered radio, and simply wait for power to return like waiting for an old friend to drop by. They call it natural break time. When your phone dies, the TV's off, and people return to chatting, playing dominoes, or listening to rain on the tin roof. Number 3. The world's most expensive coffee. At a small cafe in the charming Casco Viejo neighborhood, where mossy walls and rusty iron balconies evoke colonial Europe, you can order something extraordinary. A cup of Panama geisha coffee for $75. Yes, just 1 cup. But inside is a universe of flavors. Gentle jasmine, bright Meyer lemon, and a lingering sweet mango finish like Panama's late afternoon sun on your tongue. This coffee is no joke. In 2019, Panama Geisha sold at auction for $2,568 per pound, making it the world's most expensive coffee. Grown on volcanic slopes in Boquete, where red soil, mist, and elevations above 1,500 meters create a flavor treasure, the world fights over it bean by bean. But if you think every Panamanian sits around sipping geisha on leather chairs while reading philosophy, step outside the cafe. Just a few blocks away, under an old tamarind tree, you'll find a shiny stainless steel cart where vendors serve Café Negro, traditional black coffee, for just 50 cents to $1. That's actually the more common coffee in Panama. If you really want to understand Panama, try both. On one side, a pricey cup with layers of flavor in an air-conditioned room. On the other, a hot plastic cup on a dusty sidewalk surrounded by laughter and honking cars in the rush of daily life. Number 2. Time rules in Panama. If you've ever lived in Europe or the US, where being 5 minutes late could cost you a contract, you'll be surprised to find 2 sets of time rules in Panama coexisting like parallel worlds. In business, Panamanians are very serious about punctuality. Business meetings, contract signings, and professional seminars usually start right on schedule, especially in banking, law, or import-export, the country's top industries. A survey by the Panama Business Journal found that over 75% of businesses in Panama City require employees to arrive 5 minutes early for every meeting. Being on time demonstrates respect and professionalism, and if you're a foreigner, it's the key to making a good impression with local partners. Step out of the office, however, and it's a completely different story. In everyday social life, Panama runs on something called hora panameña, Panama time, which basically means take it easy. There's no need to be on time. An invitation says a birthday party starts at 7 p.m. Relax. The host might still be blow-drying their hair at 7:15. Show up on time. You might end up helping set up chairs. For birthdays, small weddings, barbecues with friends, or local festivals, it's totally normal for people to arrive 30 to 60 minutes late. This flexible approach to time reflects Panama's laid-back, tranquilo lifestyle. With its tropical climate, rivers, and rainforests, the country has developed a no-rush attitude, much like the canal that quietly connects two oceans. Number 1. In Panama, car horns are a language of their own. If you're visiting Panama City for the first time, you might wonder, why is everyone honking constantly? Is there a sound battle in this traffic jam? Don't get mad, because in Panama, honking isn't an insult. It's actually a unique communication method, like talking with sound. A quick beep might just mean I'm here, heads up. 2 short beeps? That's gracias. A friendly thank you from a driver who was let in. But if you hear 3 strong, quick beeps, it probably means let me through, please. Not exactly angry, but definitely urgent. It may sound strange, but for Panamanians, this is everyday life. According to the Autoridad de Tránsito y Transporte Terrestre, Panama City alone has over 480,000 private cars, while the whole metro area has about 1.5 million people, meaning there's 1 car for every 3 people. Traffic jams are daily occurrences, especially at 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. In this world of engine noise and exhaust, the horn becomes a quick, direct way to speak, sometimes even more pleasant than a random shout. Interestingly, while in New York or Los Angeles, honking is often seen as aggressive or angry, in Panama it's like a mobile doorbell, a familiar background sound that nobody really minds. So, we've just taken a tour through Panama's quirky rules, strange taboos, and laws that sound fictional but are very real. Which one shocked you most? Or have you ever unknowingly broken one of these rules?